Now we're set up. He's Bob Pollock, Penn State Extension. You can give him a call. 479-1160 or 349-WCCS. Ask him your questions about lawns and gardens and floods. Let's start there.
Jeez.
Wow, did we get the rain?
We sure did.
And for a lot of people, it was so rainy over the weekend they couldn't even mow, which means they've got extra high grass, and they're going to be getting lawnmowers out and trying to get out on that lawn. So let's take this caller first, and maybe that's the topic, but we want to get back, circle back around to it. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a quick question for Bob.
Mm-hmm.
I have a rhododendron bush that we had cut back, and we had actually cut like one whole part of it off because it was dying. And now where the stump is at from that, it looks like it has, what do you call it, like shingles, or like it's like levels of little things going up it. Does that make sense?
Scaly?
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Do I need to worry about that?
Fungal growth?
It could be. Yeah, it could be fungi. It could be a fungus. There's some of those fungi that'll grow on dead tissue, or in this case, a dead part of the stump or branch.
Okay.
And so you'll get these growths that'll start to come out, and they may be more horizontal, and there could be several of them. But it almost sounds like it's decay fungi, so that part of the plant is continuing to die back. It's not living anymore. A lot of times when you cut that off, it will re-sprout because rhododendrons have the ability to do that at the base. You can cut them back pretty hard to rejuvenate the plant. But in this case, it sounds like that may be, once that was cut off, it's continuing to decline. And
Okay. Now there's still part of that rhododendron bush there.
Okay.
Now will that kill that, or will?
And the other part of that is where you made that cut, that branch was already dead, right?
Right.
Yes. So that it may have been dead farther down towards the base of the plant than where you cut. So that was already dead. It wasn't going to re-sprout, and so now it's continuing to decay. So if you can cut that off some more, and I don't know the arrangement or how it was left or whether there was a stub there, but if you can cut that stub back to where the main attaches to the main trunk, maybe.
Okay.
Just to get rid of the rest of that dead wood, and get it back to sound live wood. Well, it's not really live wood, but cut that off better. Then that may stop that process, and the rest of the plant will continue to function, and it'll try to grow some callus growth over that cut surface.
Okay. That's what I needed to know, because I wasn't sure if it would kill the rest of the rhododendron bush, or...
Hopefully it won't. Of course, we don't exactly know why that one whole limb died. So something happened there that killed that whole branch. Sometimes we'll get borers that will attack an individual branch, the rhododendron borer. It'll bore into a stem or branch, and then it'll feed on the inside and girdle the branch, and then that whole branch will die. Or it could have been something happened to the root system that, as long as the rest of the plant looks good, that's in our favor.
Okay. That sounds great. That's what I was wanting to know.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty, 479-1160, 349-WCCS. You can call either of those two numbers to talk to Bob this morning. 7:51 now, 9 away from 8 o'clock. So I was talking about getting out on the soggy lawn with your big, heavy tractor. The grass has to be mowed, Bob.
That's true.
And
try to do the least amount of damage that you can.
Yeah.
This year it's been hard to... There almost hasn't been very many times when you could go out and mow that there was not moisture in the ground.
Yeah, there's not been a time period where it dried out and slowed down.
So thinking about that, and September is normally a month where we can potentially get a lot of things done.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually, we have a little bit of dry weather. It's a good time to get in and seed lawns, repair lawns, do all that kind of work, as well as get ready maybe you have some beds that you want to establish, because fall is a good time to plant, late summer, early fall. So if you want to establish a bed, you can do that then. However, it's been a little challenging.
Yeah, can't do that this year so far.
We've had some very heavy rains.
And
And
there's more on the way.
It's probably been at least 3 weeks ago now, but we just kind of had hit a window there where things dried out a little bit. And I noticed somebody had gotten to it, and they were reseeding a area on a bank. And it wasn't like a day later
That's
that
all
we had
washed out.
So, yeah, I didn't go back and look at that, but I'm sure there was some erosion there. So we haven't had a lot of opportunity to be able to get those things done. Hopefully, that'll come back around again so that we can do it because this really is a good time of year to be doing a lot of those jobs. Oh, so thinking about this wetness, and compaction.
Yeah.
So you might need to be thinking about if you do have a heavy mower, you've been running over the lawn a lot and causing compaction, and you can check that out. Just try to pound a stake down in the ground, put a shovel down in the ground, and how much resistance is there when you do that. Does it go in real easy? Does it go in 2 or 3 inches? It's hard to get it in, and then it loosens up a little bit. But you'll find that variability there. But if there is compaction, then you may need to be thinking about aeration in the yard.
Okay.
And again, right now when things are so wet, it's not a good time to do that. But if things would dry out a little bit yet this fall, then that might be something that would be good to get done.
Yeah. Now,
sooner than later.
How late in the season can you reseed your lawn or your damaged areas?
We usually like to have at least several weeks' time so that grass can be seeded, it can germinate, it can get up and grow. You'd love to have at least one mowing.
So you want to have it done before the end of September at least.
Yeah, at least
in order to let it grow a little bit in October.
You can do it in October. We have been having a little bit extended falls lately, last couple of years. Which gives us a little bigger window to do that, to get things to grow. It's staying warm enough, the soil's staying warm enough so that those seeds can germinate and start to grow. It's when we get into late October and November that we're really pushing it.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot. You still see it happen. But what will happen then is if things have cooled off, especially soil temperatures, that really slow down that germination process, that seed may not even germinate this fall. You'll seed it, and then it'll lay there over winter. Usually you get a reduced percentage germination next spring when it does start to grow.
Yeah.
It will overwinter there as long as it stays in place and you've got it covered, and it'll stay there and germinate next spring. Usually we see a little bit less germination percentage then. You may have to go in and just overseed it a little bit, add some seed to it in the spring so that you get a good stand. You could have had spots that have washed out a little bit or something you got to repair.
Yeah.
But it can be done. I mean, it is done. A lot of times on construction jobs, that's where you see it the most because they push that window to the last day to get their whatever it is they're doing. And then, of course, the seeding and all that soil prep and everything, remediation gets done last. So a lot of times those projects sit there over winter. They're done, they're seeded. It also allows a little more opportunity for weed seeds to germinate if it doesn't start to grow this year. So you just have to adjust to that and deal with it.
Okay, there you go. Folks are thinking, and we always think about this too late, so I'm going to ask you now. Moving the poinsettias into darkness so that they can bloom at Christmas time the way that you want them to. The Christmas cactus as well.
Right.
Is this the time to do that?
So we're a little early. Usually you can start that in October is the month for that.
Okay. And what's the process again?
So you want at least 12 hours of uninterrupted darkness every night.
Okay.
No exceptions.
Okay.
Once you start the process, you need to keep it going because that'll just one night of interrupting that schedule will delay that. So you just got to be in a regime and you got to keep it going.
So the dark room.
Yep.
No light allowed to it at all.
Right. It needs to be dark.
12 hours.
And sometimes even street lights, that sort of thing.
That can impact that.
That there could be enough light that would impact that.
Wow.
So yeah, just
Go
needs
buy
to
a
be
new
dark.
Go buy. They even make them plastic.
Yeah. But that takes all the fun out of it, right?
Well, fun's one word for it, but I can think of some others as well. All right. He's Bob Pollock, Extension Service. Thanks so much. And you did not bring me a gift. You brought one for somebody else, so thanks a lot. Appreciate
You're quite
that.
welcome.